Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for September 1st, 2021. We're here on CathyDSlaght.com's website. To access the Zoom call, we'll scroll down and look for the Zoom banner, which is right here, if my screen will stop. And we're going to click here. Now, this is just a demonstration of the SRC4u software. You will see a word that she puts in there called My Client Group or Client Group. If you'd like to be part of her client group, you can click here, which will take you to another page, and you can read through the information, and if you so choose to be part of the group, you can send the information and there's a monthly fee. We're going to access the Zoom call by clicking here. This will take us over to the Zoom platform. I'll open up the Zoom app. I will allow for audio, and we're live.
So it's 10 o'clock. Let's get started.
Okay, and we shall be on mute.
Okay. I want to. This is something I put in here. I did not find a code yet for it. You know how good they are about coming up. But I've been working on Canada because when I put in their priority for Qi, they absolutely said yes, and they went for days. It was quite interesting. I haven't checked today, but then Canada came out with a little bit of concern on the vaccination of the minors, and they do have the stats here. The overall survival rate of minors under the age of 19 with COVID is 99.997%, and so they find that they had no recorded deaths at all, and yet they are recording deaths from the vaccination. So this is the information, and as I understand it, and maybe some of you have a little bit more information, things are pretty censored in Canada as to what you can and cannot say. So, but that did come out. We go on then, let me just show you. I did a little work ahead of time today because I'm going to have to head out about 10:40, no later than 10:40 today. But what happened is I gone ahead and combined the this discarnate stuff along with the other things, the consciousness stuff we've been putting in it, made an Excel spreadsheet, and then I added the whole list, and then here are the specifics. Permanently alleviate all symptoms of spirit possession in a perfect and correct way was the 0. Let's see here.
Could you expand that, please?
Yes, hold on 1 second. So you see, for example, we could just take this one and put it right in the elemental scanner. Let's see what we've got down. How am I doing that? Right here. Okay. How's that? Maybe that's a little too big. How's that?
Great.
Everybody see it? Okay. Let's just go ahead and put that in the... And this is all subtle stuff, and from what I'm learning, I'm really now just on page 53 of this big book, and from what I'm learning, this is something that for eons people focused on and cleared, and it was just a matter of doing it. So, okay, then we've got block, detrimental physical and emotional conditions, possession, clear all barriers to the expression and experience of love. That sounds more like it. Clear negative interference by non-physical conscious beings. I think we have a code for that now. I'll put it in the mail. No fear. That is another issue that so many have a fear of even talking about this. It's become extremely taboo, although things are changing. Shield from spirit attachment. Sole purpose. It looks like, according to the information I'm reading, that's the biggest deal. All of us come down with a purpose, and when we have this kind of interference, even if it's an earthbound energy or whatever, that throws us off. The more toxic we are, the more likely we're going to have these other energies you can tie it in very often to inappropriate overreactions, like somebody doesn't scour the tub, so it's the end of the world. Now this, again, inappropriate effect on sexual gender. So you have a man who is then entered by a woman, and this may not be what we're talking about in terms of transsexual. It could just be the two energies we are to have in order to really manifest unconditional love and then divine light of God. So those went ahead in, and then we wanted a number of cocktails today. And you can really load all this up. Our field is expansive, and our SRC can deal with it. Let's get on down here. Okay, here we go. So we wanted the session startup. This might be in reference to some of these. Can you explain those storms, Kevin, a little bit for those of us who are not familiar?
Okay, where are you moving to?
I'm just showing what we had wanted, the cocktails we had wanted this morning, and we wanted more than usual. We wanted the session startup, then we wanted the session startup for emotions, and I believe we wanted for nerves. I don't have to scan all the way down, but you can see that. Then we also show you the general option scan, a 92% benefit there, and that was in reference to organs. So I thought, that's not a long scan. Let's just look quickly. But anyway, apparently, according to Laura Lassiter, who, by the way, will not be with us again Friday, she's having some kind of trouble with her own computer, and she's got to get that worked out. And let's just see what we've got here. And I know you can't see it, but liver is the lowest. No, lungs is the lowest. Okay. Let's put that in, and then go in here to the Pro Tools and see what's next. Okay, acupuncture. Let's see what's tied in. Bones and marrow, hypothalamus, male energy, the wood element, bladder, and girdle meridian. Going to take 6 hours. And probably I'll go in after that finishes and do liver. And let's see if we want the personal options. And we're low there, so we can let that be. But then it's time to move on. As you recall, we had that scan in the beginning in reference to our areas. It started discarnate, then it went to enzyme. So we're going to move on to that with some interesting material. But first of all, now it might be time to rise up a little bit. We're clearing some energy that may have been a block. And let's just see if our levels of consciousness are in a state of alignment. This is, of course, as a group. So we've got stress related to the soul, and that is our power of choice. And what we can do is align all levels of consciousness. In other words, it could be that clearing some of this extra stress we weren't even aware of will empower us to do more towards feeding the world with no war, no famine. Look at that. We like that one too. And then this is an interesting thought. Just to see, is there anything else we need to clear? And of course, it's subtle. It's at this moment in time. And I'm just looking, yeah, non-beneficial programs. So there's no question, because we operate like computers. And I don't think we asked, did we ask for that? Let's just go ahead and put that in the pathogen panel. Or you could go into the recharger, but since we're requesting the pathogen panel, let's see what comes up with non-beneficial. And they say the way you can choose, you can tell if you're running a program is if anyone gives you any information that contradicts it, you go volatile, you get very upset. And that's almost always a clue that you're programmed. Okay, we're taking 24 hours on that one. Oh my goodness. We're going to add this and start, now that we've cleared this other. And then if you want, if you're doing your own work, and at that point you want to start adding any kind of intention to your daily work, what could it hurt? And I wrote one, this is old, and it was in the Energy Visionaries group, which I need to get back to, I think. I've ignored it. But I'm so happy. Every day my love for my fellow man grows deeper and stronger. I am so grateful to see clearly that the people of planet Earth are all one, and that together we have transformed the world to a state of joy and abundance. My body's self-healing ability is fully activated, so I am now free of all limiting patterns related to physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. I am so blessed to express the freedoms that allow me to choose the reality I joyfully create, so I can serve God and my fellow man in the highest and best way. If we put that in the group, and you can do the key, they say, to these intention statements, you want to have love in there, gratitude, and then the kind of service you would provide, with that being the case, that your intention were actualized. Let's just look in here and see how we resonate. There's nothing wrong with that, unless somebody doesn't like the God reference. Other than that, there shouldn't be anything in there. We're already at a resonance with it. Let's douse it in. And then we get to enzymes, and I'll tell you, in studying these enzymes, I see why it was a second runner-up to discarnate, because what you're seeing is the stress related to us not getting our enzymes. And I'm saying us in a general term. Many of you may be on top of this. I sure wasn't. And here's just a little bit of information. We should figure out some ways to add fermented foods. We've got amylase for blood sugar. Protease is in reference to our immunity. Here's the thing, too. Even if you're eating some of the wonderful foods that have the enzymes, they're just working to break down that food, is what I'm reading. And it's quite a challenge. You've got the lipase, and believe me, it is much more than fat digesting. You might want to Google that and look at all of the functions of lipase. This one, maltase, I didn't get a code yet, but that's in reference to sensitivity to environmental toxins. Cellulase is in reference to malabsorption and also candida. And then we want, apparently, according to what I'm reading, and you all may want to add to this, it does appear we need to be supplementing. I did all kinds of testing with the SRC to see if we could receive just the energies. Looks like we need to be supplementing. According to what I've read, we need a digestive enzyme with each meal and then systemic enzymes in between meals, if we can possibly. Now, there might be some ways to get around that. For example, I understand that there's a product called Bloomer Barley. I'm looking into that, which may provide quite a few of our enzymes without having to take all this supplement stuff. But then a few other codes: maintain natural functions of organ systems, energy production, detoxification. These are all things the various enzymes are doing for us: building, balancing hormones, regulating immune system, the neurotransmitters. So could we be seeing, again, back to inappropriate reactions, could it be purely we're not breaking our food down? Mental alertness, clarity, reduce inflammation, activate healing, reduce pain, clear pathogens, dissolve excess arterial plaque, strengthen blood vessels, prevent blood clots, dissolve adhesions, tumors, and cysts, regulate metabolism to maintain optimal weight, rejuvenate, break down excess fibrin all over the body, fibrosis, fight viruses, carry vitamins and minerals into the cells, and then they mention in the book I'm reading that we need a pH buffering system as well. So maybe more information we could acquire. So in other words, you don't want to be acidic with this. And the point being, most of the enzymes are going to be used up for digestion, so they aren't even available for these other functions unless we supplement. So that's, again, digestive enzymes with meals and systemic in between. And then they mentioned also to take something to buffer the acidity. So there is a switch word. And if anybody wants to play with these switch words, do y'all remember the switch words?
Yes.
Because
yes,
I've played with them.
they're very effective.
they really are. I will tell you my quick story again, just as an example. But when I heard about these, we all have so many things on our plate. But I finally looked it up, and I was in a situation where I didn't have the money to pay my property taxes. And I know they give you 3 years, but you don't want to do that. You want to get them paid. And the word for switch words to bring in money was count. So keeping in mind, I did not believe in this. But apparently these switch words balance, they bring together the power of the left and right brain. So what I did, starting on a Monday, I said count a few times. Tuesday, I said count just a few times. It was no big deal. On Wednesday, I got a call from someone who said, "Did you get my check?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Oh, well, we sent it." On Thursday, I got a check for $1,800. And so that made me a believer in switch words.
Woohoo! And I know that working switch words with the grab-avoid numbers, it really works.
And also with your mala beads or your prayer beads.
Well, yeah, but you can use it with anyone. It's the whole concept of that I developed to manifest, to bring it faster.
So if you want to give this a shot, what would it hurt? And then just for the heck of it, this is just supplementing with protease systemic enzymes. You can see this list. I'll send it out. And then if you add a pH buffering system, even more, and that's as far as I get. Well, there's more here, but it was overwhelming. So what happened, let's go in. We have a new cocktail, and it's called the Grab-Avoid Enzyme Cocktail. So far, I haven't found it to be a priority. In other words, I think we're going to have to also have the 3D version.
The best physical enzyme, other than one a doctor in Arizona prescribed for me, which costs twice as much or 3 times, is Digest Gold by Enzymatica. There's no.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what we need, is to hear from you all, because I'm definitely going to get back on track with that.
I believe it's cheap on Amazon. I think I paid $60 for a large bottle, but it's the best one I've ever used over the counter.
Have you ever used Shilajit? SHILAJIT?
Never heard of it.
No, it's.
It's a mineral paste. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
I'm using it.
If y'all would email me some of these names, then we can circulate them among the group.
Okay.
And I'm surprised at just, since doing this, at the number of health-minded people who aren't taking enzymes. So, of course, I'm not always in favor of taking a lot of things, but in this particular case, it looks like it's important. So you see, the cocktail is not really a priority because we need the 3D version. However,
Cathy, excuse me.
Yeah.
The one that Marty just mentioned, Enzymatica, is one of the best brands. And that's the one I use also, Digest Gold. And sometimes Enzymatica puts them on sale at 20-25% off. So I've paid maybe $38, $39, even at Chamberlain's for it.
There's 2 different sizes, the large.
Right, but I'm talking about the large size, Marty. The one I 90, I bought it for $40, but it is excellent, and you take it before you begin to eat, not after your meal. It's before you eat, right before you eat, and those enzymes are really, really good. All of them that they have in that product.
Wonderful. Digest Gold.
We used to own a health food store, right, Nydia?
Yes, Chamberlain's, of course, sells them, and most good health food stores would probably have it, or online, because Enzymatica, you can buy their stuff online as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anything else like that, send a note and we'll make sure. Because you also I like anyway to test myself, and because I knew a few brands. I didn't test the Enzymatica, but you can go in and see. Of course, again, it's very subtle. We're talking, use your intuition. But let's go in here. We haven't had a lot of cocktails about the, in reference to enzymes, so let's just go in here. So there's the Grabavoid. We can add it. There's the Nordic digestive enzymes. There's Ultra, another product. Let's just add, at this point, enzymes in general. And then why don't we do a scan anyway, and to see what we say as a group, just to get the information.
There's a neat company I found called Fermented Fairy, and she's got really good fermented food.
We need that also. Thank you.
Yeah, her sauerkraut seems to last a really long time too. You don't need as much because she's very well done with what she does.
Is that online, in a store or online?
It's online. She grew up with traditional doctors throughout her whole family.
Okay. Costco carries wild brine sauerkraut, organic. It's really the best I've ever tasted. It's a great big old thing for like $8.50. I got some yesterday.
I love my sauerkraut. I eat it every day.
Amen. Me too.
Then he makes some he makes it out of red cabbage that we grow. And it is good. And it really works.
Well, some of us are not crazy about sauerkraut. But anyway, I think it sounds like, especially that red cabbage. So,
it is good. It is
Yeah.
good. A lot of people like it that don't like sauerkraut.
Do you eat it just by itself?
Sometimes.
I always add
But
mine
if
to my
we're
food.
having something that'll go with, then we'll have it with it.
Mm-hmm.
I add it to everything I have.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a plan.
Before a meal, my friend Sheila makes everything fermented vegetables, so you can make your own and put them in jars easily. We'll talk about that later. I'll send you Okay, bye.
That sounds wonderful. Okay, so we're looking, here we go. Maintain natural functions of organ systems. We've got a little stress at this moment in time. Go ahead and douse it in. Doesn't look like it would be a bad thing to do a little thymus tapping in reference to what we see as some organ stress. Here's the energy production. We'll look at that, 0. We're accepting that. Reduce inflammation. That's pretty universal. Dissolve excess arterial plaque. Rejuvenate sounds good. And that's it at this moment in time. Going 3 minutes with 6 repeats in reference to one of our statements: permanently alleviate all symptoms of spirit possession in a perfect and correct way. And not bad. And we are going to do liver later. It looks like we want to repeat on the pathogen panel as well. Now here's our mediator. We were doing financial blessings. We didn't quite resonate yesterday. Let's see how we are today. Can we come back to that? Let's just do, we got a lot of information in here. Let's just do wonder click. Life force. I think you can see all this.
What is Chong Mai?
My understanding is that's our life force. Is that right, Kevin?
It's called penetrating vessel. It's at the core of your being.
Thank you.
But what does that mean exactly?
It's one of the first things that forms when you're a fetus.
Ah, okay.
Why did you put financial blessings as a con?
Because we're the ones blocking it. We want to be more pro than con. And we still are not quite. It's kind of divided. And, talking about programming, which we put in the pathogen panel and are asking for 24 hours, many of us, and we don't, it may be ancestral. It may not be anything, even in our own lifetime, we're aware of. But there are a lot of messages about how wrong it is to have money. And we aren't aware of it, but that's just an example of programming. So just yesterday, we were basically experimenting. And even as a group, and we're kind of aware of these things, we see still a little stress with that subject.
I want to make a comment on that. Back to well, so many things happen in the pranic healing. Many of us took previous vows of poverty according to Master Co. And that's kind of stored, I think, in the base chakra. So we would work on clearing that energy there.
Yes. And I was doing that for a while and got sidetracked. Let's do that right now. Hold on just a second. We had gotten up to the sacral, but let's just go in. And then I got to where I was just clear. Let's just put chakra system. Non-beneficial. We're going to take 17 hours on that. Yeah, I got sidetracked. Because it's very, very important. With the chakra system is really, you want to get down to it, maybe the whole deal. So we see in reference to, we were talking about amino acids, digestion is coming up so often. Maybe this enzyme work will help. Inflammation, throat chakra. Again, so much information on the power of our words. I hear Greg Braden has a great video out on that. I haven't gotten to listen yet, but we know the throat chakra is this powerful piece of equipment we have, an amazing resonator, I guess, and that our words can be very powerful. Pineal gland, defensive action, fixation, emotion, vexed. Words to ponder. Crime has already been organized. Now it's up to the police. Not sure what that means in our minds, though. And here again, balance the internal female-male dynamics. That may be what that gender stuff is all about. We're ready to move into the Christ self, our consciousness.
His consciousness, excellent.
Yes. And then here again, this is another thing, as we all know. And this, of course, we're working with a group, not necessarily those just on this call, but about 99% of us are deficient in fatty acids. And that's something our body really doesn't make. And we're not getting the foods, just like we're not getting the foods to support the enzymes. So even myself, as not a nutritionist, I never feel uncomfortable recommending people take fatty acids. So with that in mind, we're in the Shin, attract all that stuff, attract wealth. Look at that, and replace all negative experiences. And then we are doing in the Gong attitude clearing, emotional clearing, and a complete physical burn down session, which means we're starting fresh. So, anything to add?
I have a question, Cathy. In watching Ralph's video yesterday, he says we have 2 new updates coming.
I just sent that link so everybody can get that video.
Yes, thank you, and I'll put it in our notes that go out today too.
Well, my question is, if I understood him correctly, is that we can we can download it ourselves. Is that correct? Or do
Yes.
we need
If you have the new updater, and if I've downloaded that on your system with the new updater, check for updates. And if that works for you, yes, you can load it.
Let's look real quickly.
Thank you, Kevin.
Let's see what we've got here. And thank you for mentioning it. I forgot.
Thank you, Kevin.
And that's important.
Absolutely.
All right, so you're saying
Next to the UD3, there's a little down arrow, a triangle. Click on that. Click there.
update.
Check for updates. Check for updates.
Oh, check for updates. Thank you.
And then if there are there, it'll list them. You say, okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Then
so
you go back to the arrow that you were on
mm-hmm.
and click update. And then a new window
Yeah,
would pop
okay.
up.
And I didn't have any, so it's shaded out. Yeah.
But by
All
Friday
right.
night or Saturday, that should be there. If you
Oh,
don't
great.
have that, then let me know and I'll get you up to speed.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, everybody have a wonderful day. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Cathy.
Thanks, Kath.
Good night, you guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
have a great safe day.
I will
Thank
be
you
here
again.
tomorrow, Cathy. Be safe, everyone.
Thank you. You too.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call for September 1st, 2021. Thank you for attending. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.